I want to be clear about this. Let's not read too much into a poll that was conducted that included only 1,100 participants. 1,100 people, ages 13 and up, participated. So you have to say this is relatively unscientific. Now, I find the results very interesting, now that we got that out of the way. This, to me, Stephen A., drives home the point that LeBron James made one of the most brilliant PR moves in the history of sports. And I don't think I am overstating this. Let's backtrack to Pat Riley's State of the Union soon after the Heat lost the NBA Finals, in which he basically challenged LeBron, and you can argue also Dwight and Bosh, but especially LeBron, don't find the first door and run through it, because, as Pat Riley listed, all the great players lost, and lost spectacularly, and they all came back to win spectacularly. So don't find that first door, LeBron, and run through it. I can tell you for a fact that now Dwyane Wade is not altogether pleased that his best friend, LeBron James, basically left him high and dry. And I think it was a shock to Dwyane, even though you've told me Dwyane had to see it coming bits by bits over time. But it was still a shock to him. And it was interesting that yesterday Dwyane said his new favorite player to play against is LeBron James. So Dwyane is now on a mission to say, okay, LeBron, you basically publicly dismissed me and said you can't win with me anymore. I'm going to show you next year. So now, bottom line to this poll, was Pat Riley able to then publicly criticize LeBron for leaving Miami? Have you heard one peep from Dwyane Wade publicly criticizing LeBron for leaving him? No, he went home. It's beautiful. It's brilliant, because there's really nothing you can say. Does anybody really remember or care that LeBron's team just recently lost the NBA Finals to 3 aging superstars by a record number of points? No, he went home. It's beautiful. And I must say, I misread the tea leaves early on, because I told you the first day we spoke about it, what's he doing? It looks like he's going to a very young team with zero playoff, or very little playoff experience except for Rajon with LeBron. And it had lost a number of its better players from last year when they went 33 and 49. And I thought, LeBron's going to have no shot here. Now it looks like they might land Kevin Love on top of Mike Miller and Ray Allen. And all of a sudden, LeBron has maybe not quite as good a chance to win as he had last year with D. Wade and Bosh, but a pretty good shot to win the East next year. So I say, way to go, LeBron James. And the poll backs that up.
Well, the poll it's a poll about popularity, Skip, and the fact of the matter is that he's done an incredible job of rebuilding his image. I think step number one was acknowledging that he had mishandled the whole decision thing. That he could have handled things a bit better and manning up on that level. Obviously, the world was against him when he went to the finals the first year in Miami and lost to the Dallas Mavericks. But in the aftermath of that, once he stepped away from all of that, really zoned in like Pat Riley and those guys had preached to him to do, and just weeded out all the noise, he came back as a man on a mission. And then even then, his popularity was incrementally rising. But then they went to that Boston. To me, the turnaround for everything was when he went to Boston and dropped 45 and 15 in Game 6 of that Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. When you see that photo, and they still have that photo, if you walk through the corridors of the American Airlines Arena in Miami, and you see a photo of LeBron kneeling over a little bit, looking just like a man possessed. And it was that kind of performance where I think that everybody had to step back and say, well, wait a minute here. We understand this man is great as a talent, but this dude just seems to be on another level. It's another mission right now. He just seems to be on another level. He drops 45 and 15. He looks like a man possessed. He completely takes over, and he saves the Miami Heat season and their shot at a championship, which they ultimately won. And I think that gave everybody cause to pause. It was the defining moment that he had risen in the biggest moment of his career to that point, because other moments it just didn't equate to what that moment would have meant. Had they lost to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals that year,
Yep.
LeBron and them may have never recovered.
And by the way,
so from that point forward,
yeah, his popularity at that point hit its high point. I think that was 87.
Oh, was it 87?
Like 2010.
Yeah.
I believe that was the 87 point. I'm not sure about that, but
Yeah,
there was a point in
I'm just
2010 when
saying
he
that-
hit 87.
Yes, yeah. I'm just saying that when he did that and he let the world know that he was on another level.
Yep.
Now you got to remember, this is America, and we love the reclamation projects. We want to root for the underdog. As great as he was, he ultimately, in the eyes of everybody, became an underdog, not because of his talent, not because they weren't expected to win, but because everybody was hating on him.
Yep.
And so you suddenly had people rising up and saying, "Look, man, you got to give this brother his props and you know, give him credit for, you know, just withstanding all of this momentum of criticism and what have you, and really elevating above it all." And that's what he's done, and he's been doing it ever since, not just on the court of play, but just in life. Some of the things he does in the community with his foundation, when he presented the ESPN Awards to Robin Roberts, which was a great, great moment. You just see a level of sensitivity and consciousness that he has, not just as a professional athlete, but as somebody who's trying to contribute to the community at large. And I think that helped ingratiate himself with a lot of people
I get all that,
in America and throughout the world.